So there is a lot of talk going around with the Little Mermaid right now. Little Mermaid is a hot topic, as rightfully so. A lot of people were feeling some sort of way regarding Little Mermaid when it came to their divisive choices to race swap Ariel, as well as make some other changes to the music, the lyrics that were deemed problematic from modern audiences, and we ended up getting Aquafina to replace those problematic lyrics, which I think a lot of people would have rather taken the problematic lyrics over Aquafina. But there was a lot of divisive changes that were made to this movie, and now apparently international markets are completely roasting The Little Mermaid. So we're going to get into this article, guys. This one comes to us from CBR, and the headline says it's official. The Little Mermaid marks Disney's worst 2023 opening in China. Of course, China is not going to want to play the identity politics game from the United States. That much has been said many times before, but let's see exactly what's going on. But before we do, guys, of course, if you guys are new here, consider giving this video a like so you can push us out into the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing because we're on our way to 22,000 subscribers. It says Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid completes its opening weekend in China with disappointing numbers and confirming previous estimates. It says Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid has completed its opening weekend. While the film has proven to be a hit in most territories, its box office take shows that the blockbuster, like many Hollywood projects, is struggling in China. According to the ENT Group, The Little Mermaid ended its opening weekend in China with only 2.63. Oh my God. $2.63 million, making it the lowest earning Disney release so far this year. For comparison, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever earned almost $6 million over its opening weekend. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania earned $19 million, and the more recent Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 earned $27 million. My God, ladies and gentlemen, an opening weekend of $2.63 million. I don't know what to say other than, wow, R.I.P. Little Mermaid, because my God, that is really, really terrible. And you know what? Let's not pretend like it's shocking that China is not down for this nonsense. Obviously, China, of all places, is going to say screw the Little Mermaid, especially this version. They're not going to want to play that game with them. And honestly, Disney knows it. Disney obviously knows that China is not down for this, but of course, they're going to push it out anyway in the hopes to get whatever little bit of money they can because they're going to desperately need it. The movie right now is doing pretty good in the domestic box office. It's nowhere near the mega hit they're trying to make it seem. Honestly, it's pretty average at best, but the international market is roasting this movie. I think in the opening weekend, it only did about 60 million, but I'm going to confirm that once I pull up the numbers here in a second. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, right now, The Little Mermaid has a domestic gross of $117 million, and it has an international of only $68 million for a worldwide opening weekend, a 4-day opening weekend on a holiday. On top of that, it only made $185 million, ladies and gentlemen. $185 million at the time of this recording for its opening weekend. My God, is that absolutely garbage. It is garbage. This movie is not the mega hit that they were hoping it was going to be internationally, and unless the domestic crowd really carries this movie, it's going to look really, really bad for them. But time will tell if the domestic crowd cares enough about The Little Mermaid to carry this through to about 700 to 800 million, which is where a lot of people are saying this movie's probably going to end up. But at the end of the day, this movie got outclassed by Aladdin, which is hilarious to me because they canceled the actor from Aladdin for speaking out against this movie and saying it's going to be basically mid at best and do nowhere near what Aladdin did. It says early estimates for The Little Mermaid's performance in China suggested that the film would not succeed with Chinese moviegoers. This stemmed from the fact that pre-sales leading up to the opening amounted to just $13,000. On opening day, the Disney film earned a total of $550,000. Moreover, the statistics show that there is a steady decline in the number of theaters playing The Little Mermaid in China, though this is subject to change, and it may be too soon to tell whether the film will see an early exit from theaters. I would guarantee that it probably does. In China, specifically speaking in China. I don't know about anywhere else overseas, but in China, I would imagine that The Little Mermaid is not going to have the longest of runs in theaters. It says at the beginning of 2023, China ended what appeared to be a virtual ban on Hollywood films, allowing major releases such as the aforementioned Disney films as well as Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, and more into theaters. Currently, Fast X is dominating the Chinese box office with its cumulative total of 113 million at the time of writing. Yeah, they love Fast. The Fast and the Furious franchise is massive internationally. The numbers that movie does internationally dwarfs what it does domestically, which is hilarious to me. but again, I guess they just have that kind of following in the rest of the world. No, don't get me wrong. Domestically, people love the Fast and the Furious franchise. I don't know why. We are at an ungodly amount of movies at this point, and it's pretty sickening. But again, it's a franchise that's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I think the untimely death of good old Brian O'Connor, aka Paul Walker, was really what fueled the reignited love for this franchise, because a lot of people love seeing him play Brian O'Connor. It says a Disney success at the box office, but while The Little Mermaid appears to be rapidly losing audiences in China, it enjoyed a hugely successful weekend elsewhere. In the U.S., the film grossed an impressive $118 million over its 4-day Memorial Day holiday weekend. Is it really that impressive? $118 million, subpar compared to other movies that have come out without holiday weekends, without a 4-day weekend. You got a 4-day weekend and it was a holiday, bro. Come on. Is this really impressive? Be honest. For a worldwide total of $185.8 million, according to The Hollywood Reporter. When it comes to its critical reception, reviews have been mixed. Most critics praised star Halle Bailey's dramatic and musical performance as Princess Ariel, but criticized the film's length and writing, describing it as overall unimaginative. Well, it's a remake. It's a Disney remake. Do you really think they're going to be super imaginative when it comes to a Disney remake? No. The whole reason why they're remaking The Little Mermaid to begin with is because they have no creativity anymore. They have to figure out a way to make money, even though they can't figure out what to make anymore. So they said, let's just remake everything. Let's put real people into these movies. Let's swap them all black and hope that they succeed. That's basically what they did for a lot of these animated shows and movies. It says, furthermore, the film's focus on realism when it came to an aesthetic was also slammed by critics. This followed backlash from audiences when clips and images from the film revealed realistic crab and fish designs for Sebastian and Flounder. So ultimately, guys, this movie is going to get slammed internationally. I would be highly, 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 highly surprised if this movie breaks even anywhere close at this point, because as we know, Disney movies tend to fall off pretty hard in the box office. So right now, it only did about 117 million domestically. We already know that this movie cannot, as of right now, rely on the international market. It looks like they're going to get smoked over there. So right now, they have to rely on the domestic market. And domestically speaking, these movies tend to fall off about 50 to 70%, depending on how bad the fall off usually is. So we're going to come to find out and see just exactly how much is going to be supported with this movie. But I gotta say, considering all of the advertising I've seen for this movie, and I've seen a lot, I've seen a ton of social media advertisements. I've seen a bunch of clips being made up and put out there, basically little mini trailers that are like 10 to 30 seconds long of music to try to get people hyped. I've seen an ungodly amount of advertising for this movie. I know the advertising budget is going to be wild for it. And considering the movie budget itself is $250 million, when you double that at the minimum for marketing, now you're at $500 million, which guess what? To break even on average, since you get 50% of money with your movie theater ticket sales, now you're going to need almost $1 billion fucking dollars to break even on this movie. And the chances of this movie hitting that is slim to none without the international market. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.